Hello, friends and foes! Today I'm going to be turning myself into every character from the Addams family. Well, almost. Let's get started. Okay, we're gonna start with Wednesday Addams, mostly because my hair's already in pigtails and I don't want to take it down. Gonna grab our sunscreen and smear that all over our face to protect our face from the horrors that await it. Now we're gonna grab the lightest concealer that we can find from the drugstore and smear that on our face too. All over. Go ahead and blend that out. And now add yet even more. Make sure to blend that out also. Now we're going to add some concealer down our neck so it's not a completely different shade. I'm going to add some to my lips too because I'm going to be changing their shape later and I want a nice, clean, even base to start. Next up is powder, and I don't normally, how they say, bake my face for a reason that's about to become very evident. I got powder all over the place, all over my face. It was in my eyes, it's in my keyboard, it's still here. Now we're going to add a touch of contour just under our cheekbone and under our jaw and blend that out also. Grab yourself a dark brown eyeshadow and apply that into your crease to make your eyes look a bit deeper and more cool. Blend that out and add even more. Next up, we're going to get very tired of the powder covering every surface of everything and dust it off before adding some more dark shadow under our eye. Continue adding and blending dark shadows underneath your eyes. After all, terrorizing your siblings takes a lot out of you, so we're allowed to look a little tired. Next up is eyebrows. More like eyebrows, am I right? Wednesday's eyebrows are very straight, dark, and thick, which is perfect for me. Go ahead and add some black eyeshadow to those brows. And I tried to make mine look a little angrier, because Wednesday. Now decide you don't have enough red tones under your eyes, so add some more. Red under your eyes is a great way to look tired or just a bit spoopy. Wednesday Addams has a widow's peak, and I already have a widow's peak, but I wanted it to look a little more widow's peaky, so I'm adding some black eyeshadow. Now for lips, I'm adding a tiny bit of reddish orange lip color just to the very, very inside of my lips, going for a very thin, long lip shape. Now I think we've done a wonderful job, so it's time to reward ourselves with some Girl Scout cookies and a costume.
Are they made from real Girl Scouts?
Silly Wednesday, that's cannibalism. Alright, on to the next character, Morticia Addams. We're starting with the palest shade of foundation that we could find, again at CVS, blending that all over our face and down our neck. Now we're adding a second coat for maximum paleness. Oh yeah, beautiful. I'm also adding some to my lips, tip of my nose, and under my eye for a nice even base.
I'd like to formally apologize to my skin for everything I'm putting it through today.
Your face will not forgive you. Now for powder. Even more powder. So much powder. Everywhere. Next up, Morticia has a very intense, very dark contour on her cheekbone, so let's go ahead and add that. Pure black. Now we're going to get tired of the powder again and dust it off. So much powder. Morticia has vampire vibes, and you know what vampires don't have? Unblended contour. Blend your contour. Blend like your life depends on it. Morticia also rocks a fantastic smoky eye, so let's get started on that. Add some black eyeshadow right across where your eyelashes are, up into a wing shape. Continue to add more black, and then pull it across the outer edge of your eye crease area. We're trying to make a sort of triangle shape in the outer section of our eye. It looks a little odd right now, but it'll get better with a bit of blending. Go ahead and add some gray to your brush, and blend towards the center of your eye. If you're doing this, I think you've caught on by now that you're going to be doing a lot of blending. Blending is our word of the day. Now I'm going back in with some black to add to my outer crease, to really define it a bit more, to make it look almost like a cut crease, but still blended. This actually turned out really well, a lot better than I was expecting. Now for eyebrows. Morticia has very thin eyebrows, especially compared to Wednesday, so I'm just doing the bare minimum. Now for nose contour. Morticia's nose is very thin and straight, so I'm adding some black right to the outer edges right there and blending those out. I'm not too worried about not getting it in the center or on the sides because I'm about to add more concealer just to the very center to highlight it a bit more and sell the illusion of a tiny, tiny, tiny toothpick-sized nose on my face. Make sure that concealer looks real nice and blended. Then go ahead and DIY yourself some mascara because you forgot yours upstairs and don't feel like walking up to get it. In case you're curious, it was just black eyeshadow and water, nothing special, nothing fancy, just what I had near me. Now it's time for hair. Right now we look like Lady Morgana after she started living in the woods. So let's go ahead and try to fix that, shall we? Grab yourself a High School Musical themed brush and brush out your hair until it looks fairly straight. Now for that beautiful red lip. Add some red lipstick to your mouth. I went slightly outside the outer corners. I should have stopped about right here because that looked good, but
You wanna know how I got these scars?
yeah. Now it's costume time. Let's go ahead and change into a nice gray, maybe?
Darling, I always wear black.
So there we have it. Maybe it's not the closest to the Morticia that we see here pictured, but I think it is pretty good, and frankly it gets far worse in this video. Just hold on to your seats there, friends. We have a lot more to go. So let's go ahead and get snapped back to our original state. Can we... there we go. Oh, nope. Power of makeup moment here for you. Just kidding. Let's move on. Grab your hairbrush, friends, High School Musical or otherwise, because our next character is Cousin It. Brush all of your hair straight forward. Now squat down. Further. Further. Now get close to the camera. There. Beautiful. Cousin It. Ta-da! Gorgeous. Iconic. Positively flawless. On to our actual next character, Gomez Addams. I'm going to start by putting my hair back in a little bun here. Slick that back the best we can, and now we're going to add just a touch of contour underneath our cheekbones. This is a family where everyone has gorgeous cheekbones. Everyone. I'm using a very light brown just to kind of get it a bit more defined. Now I'm going in with one of the two brushes that I have down here. I just don't feel like getting more. And adding some dark purple underneath my eyes and over my eyes and just all around my eyes, frankly. Just adding little eye bags, a little more definition. I didn't do a ton for Gomez. I probably should have done more, but the real power is in the mustache, which is coming up next. We're going to grab ourselves a tiny little brush and add a bit of black water-activated paint to our upper lip, just tapping it along, making a nice long mustache. Now we're going to start to realize that this doesn't actually look good or like a mustache or like Gomez Addams. It looks pretty bad. What shall we do, we wonder, but then we get an idea. You know what looks like hair? Hair, and we have hair. Find yourself a mustache-length piece and snip it off. Be immediately horrified at what you have done, but then get over yourself because we have a mustache to glue on. And we are going to attach that mustache by tapping on a bit of liquid latex around our top lip with a little sponge thing. Now we're placing our mustache down, and this is the wrong mustache shape. It's completely wrong. Luckily, we do remember to snip the edges off here just a little bit to make it slightly more Gomez-esque. It's still not perfect, but it's better. And better is good. Smooth out your mustache, and add a tiny little bit of orange to the center of your lips, then give up pretty quickly, and costume.
Caramilla. What? Come on, old man. I've smoked since I was 5. Mother insisted. Okay, so I look less like Gomez Addams and more like a friendly businessman named Dave, but,
I think you're right, Dave. We don't really look like Gomez Addams, especially not this picture. But it's okay. Let's move on to our next character, back to the beginning. And next on the list, we have the iconic Pugsley Addams. So let's try and spike up the front part of our hair, and give up.
Okay, we're going with that.
Now, once again, we're adding just a touch of dark shadow under our eyes, because everyone in this family is tired, I guess. At this point, decide you looking up like Pugsley in costume.
Eat us. Hey, it's Thanksgiving Day. Now with a drop of potion, my sister blows her cool. Full disclosure.
Okay, so I didn't really know any lines for Pugsley. Also, I feel like one of his most defining features is his striped shirt, so I'll go with it. And it doesn't really matter because next we're going to stray super far from our source material. Next we're going to attempt to turn ourselves into Grandma Addams. We're going to start this transformation by applying some liquid latex all over our cheek and letting it dry. This was an attempt to give ourselves some wrinkles, and it didn't really work, and we tried it again, and it still didn't really work. But then we get yet another terrible idea. We're going to use the technique that we normally use for zombie makeups to give ourselves wrinkles. By applying a tissue to our cheek and covering it with latex and allowing that to dry, it gives ourselves a sort of wrinkle, but it's very unnatural looking. I'm not sure I would recommend that you do this, but it looked really cool in the end, so stay tuned and decide for yourself. If you do decide to do this, I would recommend that you rip the edges of your tissue so you don't have any straight edges. Straight edges are much harder to cover. Also be careful because if you rip it, it rips all the way. Yeah, it's fine though.
Okay, that's fine.
We bounce back, we're a fighter. Basically, you just apply a bit of latex to your nose, stick the tissue down, apply more latex on top of it. Right now I'm attempting to give myself a fake nose that is rounder, larger, bigger in general. This part probably worked the least well of all of the sections of our face, but it still looked kind of good and I'm pretty proud of it. And here I go trying the cheek again, laying down the tissue, applying latex on top, and pulling the latex down away from the tissue to blend it into my face.
I'm so sorry, no.
Fairly smoothly. I'm also giving myself a little tissue and latex mustache. I think that was pretty unnecessary. It didn't show up as well as I would have wanted. Also put a tiny piece on my forehead. That's as big as I was willing to go with all of the hair that's surrounding my forehead. Now I'm going to grab a watercolor paint and add some brown on top of the tissue. This looks super weird, but when we add foundation on top, it'll balance out. It helps the foundation to not be on top of just a pure white substance. Once again, I'm going in with the palest foundation shade, the same one that I used for Morticia, and as you can see, the brown is helping it blend more evenly. It's also helping that this was a full coverage foundation, and not like a BB cream or something. Also, don't use your brushes that you actually like on top of wet liquid latex. It'll ruin your brushes. Now I'm continuing to add some foundation. I'm packing it on, doing several layers. Lots and lots of layers. Adding brown to my nose, and adding so many layers of this pale foundation. Don't forget to go over your eyelids. And as always, make sure to blend. Next up, we're going to add a touch of that foundation over the tip of our nose here in a second, and we're going to leave it a bit thicker there, that way it sells the illusion that that is our nose and it leads into our forehead. Now we're going in with some black water-activated paints under our eyes and blending that out with our finger as well as a bit of water. I'm adding some to my forehead as well for a little extra wrinkly action. Now I'm going over my eyebrows with some white paint, because I'm supposed to be old. Now it's time for hair. I start here by teasing my hair, and then teasing it some more, and then teasing it some more. I'm trying to add as much frizzy volume to my hair as possible. I doubt my hair will ever forgive me. I also braided the back two sections of my hair to make it look a bit thinner. Also, my reference picture that I was using at the time had some braids in it. Now, I couldn't find any white hairspray, so I just went in with some dry shampoo. Lots and lots of dry shampoo. As much dry shampoo as you are willing to use. Again, I think this looks super cool. Maybe not exactly like Grandma Addams, but still really, really cool. Maybe I should have spent a touch more time blending it all in and make myself look paler, but I think it still looks okay.
Well, that concludes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time.
Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. Da 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 da.